From Amateur Radio Newsline Report number 2050, these are the Ham Nation headlines for Wednesday, February 15th, 2017. We open this week's report with an update on a ham ban that is still experimental, at least in the U.S. Until 630 meters becomes mainstream in the States, as it is in so many other places in the world, there are always events like the Midwinter 630-meter operating activity.
Conditions on 630 meters were average, according to Fritz Rabb, W1FR, coordinator of the ARRL's 630-meter experimental group, but he told Amateur Radio Newsline that participants enjoyed the second annual midwinter activity on the band. According to a summary from John Langridge, KB5NJD, WSPR activity was at an all-time high, and there were abundant trans-Pacific openings. Canadian stations were eager participants as well on their newest band, although hams in British Columbia had complications from snow and ice conditions. A number of stations were also active using CW and JT9. Rabbit said previously that as the solar cycle has gone into decline, MF propagation has improved, especially in the paths to VK and JA. Now it is a matter of waiting. Countries permitting 630-meter band operation include Ireland, Switzerland, New Zealand, Finland, Canada, Poland, and Bulgaria. Rabb said hams in the U.S. have been hoping for the FCC to permit normal operation on 472 kilohertz to 479 kilohertz since 2004, and so they are accustomed to sitting things out. We hope their patience pays off. For Amateur Radio Newsline, I'm Skeeter Nash, N5ASH.
The ladies of the Net Radio Club, KM6CIR, have a big day scheduled aboard a historic World War II ship.
A lot of history has sailed aboard the USS Hornet museum ship, which now makes Alameda, California, its permanent home. The naval aircraft carrier, formerly the USS Kearsarge, was known in more recent decades for recovering the Apollo 11 astronauts following their return to Earth after the first moon landing mission in 1969. On Saturday, February 18th, the ladies of the Net Radio Club, KM6CIR, will get closer to the ship's renowned history when they begin operating from the onboard radio station NB6GC beginning at 1900 UTC. The club, an informal net that meets weekday mornings on 40 meters, is based in Union City, California. The World War II ship, which was decommissioned in 1970, has been a public museum since 1998, and it became home to the USS Hornet Amateur Radio Club in 2002. For Amateur Radio Newsline, I'm Jim Dameron, N8TMW.
It's not every ham club that has a historic aircraft carrier docked in the neighborhood, so some down-under hams have made do with a smaller boat. In this case, a ferry.
Ferry boats aren't exactly battleships, but a few of the ones in Sydney Harbour are going to see some competitive action soon during the Sydney Amateur Radio Ferry Contest on the 12th of March. The Waverley Amateur Radio Society, VK2BV, is hosting its second annual ferry contest, which is a VHF-UHF event utilising both simplex frequencies and repeaters. The competition invites hams to contact other hams on handheld transceivers while on any of the ferries or wharves in and around Sydney Harbour. The event takes place from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. local time, so there will be a number of honours, including the coveted Worked All Ferries Award. So if you're waiting for your ship or perhaps your ferry to come in, consider the purchase of an Opal card for $2.50, which permits a full day's travel on board. For Amateur Radio Newsline, I'm Jason Daniels, VK2LAW.
You know what they say, it's not the size of your boat, it's the motion of the ocean. For the rest of this week's Amateur Radio News, please listen to the full Amateur Radio Newsline report online on a repeater near you or on shortwave radio station WTWW at 9930 and 5085 kilohertz. And that's all from the Amateur Radio Newsline, your independent source for amateur radio news for 4 decades and counting at www.arnewsline.org. With Skeeter Nash, N5ASH, Jim Dameron, N8TMW, Jason Daniels, VK2LAW, Karen Eve Murray, KD2GUT at the news desk in New York, and our news team across the globe, I'm Don Wellbanks, AE5DW. 7-3. We'll see you next time here on Ham Nation.